What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Grey Exchange. How is everybody doing this evening? Glad to see you folks in chat. And we're going to take a few minutes just to say hello to some of you folks before we bring up my guest. So let me back this chat up a little bit and see who is here. We got Yarn Prepper, Ark Wildman Survival, Donna Divine Prepping, Tiny Titan, JT, Scott, Bell Prepper, Jeff Riffle. Let me scroll past a few of these. Angela Picareno, I got to get that right one of these days, Angela. Milo on the ready. How are you doing? Scott Dene from Ocean Shores, Washington. Za is in the house. What's up, Za? How you doing? Kincaid Outdoors. What's up, brother? Let me see here. Scroll. Wild Nesting is in the house. Pony Girl is in the house. Let me see here. Make sure I don't miss anybody. Kind of scrolling down. Little Lone Prepper. What's up? Colleen Rich. How you doing? Sherry Leach. Leona Riley. D14 is in the house. Jeff, what is up, Jeff? Zombie Prepper, what is going on, brother? Chief Prepper's in the house. Loretta, Hutch, if I got that correctly. I do apologize if I messed it up. What's up, Esmore? How you doing? Fellow Canadian, eh? And the chat jumped on me. I think I'm almost down to the bottom here, folks. Big Bear Prepper, what is up, brother? Raptor Ranch, Miss J, Flying Ryan, 1986. There we go. I got that one right. Anna Oakley, how you doing, Annie? Montana Sky. Garden Coy, T. Prada's in the house, Peter Rouse, Dina Walters. You see, I think I've caught up to everybody. What's up, Mark? Good to see you as well, brother. I tried to text you this afternoon, Mark. I wanted to apologize. I missed your call the other day. Frank is in the house. Frank's from the house in Panhandle. Awesome, Frank. And Glenna Hayes, what is up? How you doing? All right, folks. So tonight we have Charlie from NLGhostWolf. You guys, it's been about 6 months since I've had Charlie on the channel, and I figure it's winter time, and Charlie's out there in that island of Newfoundland. So I figured we bring him up, talk about what he's doing for survival and preparedness to get ready for this winter, and we're going to go ahead and dive into it. So no further waiting. We're going to go ahead and bring up. What's up, Celador? Kelly61. Just saw you guys pop up. What is up, my brother Charlie? How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, Gray. How's it going, buddy? And hello, everybody in chat. Thanks for having me on again, Gray, and congratulations on reaching the 10K subs.
Yeah, man,
my friend.
It was a personal thing of mine to get there, but I'm gonna probably talk more about it. What's up, Pantry Mama? I just happened to see Jeff Sams. Something I'm going to talk about on Thursday. I'm going to do something, for the folks that have supported me since the get-go.
Yeah.
But if you can do me a favor, Charlie, there's a lot of new folks in chat. If you can kind of introduce yourself in the channel and tell us a bit about yourself for the folks that may not know you, so they can kind of get at least an idea what your channel's about and who you are.
Okay, so I am retired. I'm a veteran from the Canadian military. I did over 27 years in the forces. I am Native, even though I don't look it. I went into detail as to why I don't look Native. I don't know if you can remember that, Gray, but basically in 1916, they came out with a book, and it talked about how government could get Native children away from their parents. And that was the very same year that my grandmother got taken away from her parents. And so when she was raised by an elderly couple in central Newfoundland, taken away from the west coast of Newfoundland, taken away from all her brothers and sisters, and she wouldn't, she had a bit of a hard life. She wasn't allowed to be Native, obviously. She was very young when she left, 23 years old. But she made sure she tried to hide her Native heritage because it wasn't good to be Native. So she married a man that had some Scottish into him. And half the family looked like me. Half the family have dark hair, dark skin, dark eyes. So and this was a way of survival, I guess, from. But anyways, my channel is basically everything outdoors, from hiking and kayaking and salmon fishing and trout fishing, fly fishing, rabbit catching, hunting, moose hunting, guiding, you name it, anything and everything outdoors. recently I purchased a drone, so I've been doing a lot of drone footage and scenic views, and I'm going to incorporate that into a lot of my adventures. But GreyMan Prepping. Need Charlie to speak louder. I don't know. Is this my mic right here?
Yeah, that's your mic right there.
Okay. I don't know if there's a way I can kind of hook that up in here somehow. Is this a little bit better?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit better. I don't know if the chat can or not. And there was someone else, Pamela Sherry. During live streams, I don't know if I can put in closed captions for you folks. I know after the show wraps up, about 15 minutes after, half hour or so, the closed captions actually load to that. So I do apologize for that, Pamela. Can you turn on something as... Yeah, I saw that, Rena. But that's the issue with closed captions. As far as I know, it doesn't work on that. And I'll let you finish, Charlie, while you're talking, and I'll see if there's anything I can do about closed captions for those folks. I'm going to jump into my studio real quick.
So like I said, my channel is about anything and everything outdoors. I was raised in a very traditional way. We never had a lot of money growing up, so we had to do hunting, fishing, and gathering to survive, to make it through the winters here on the island of Newfoundland. For those of you who don't know where we are located, we're the easternmost province in Canada, and it's Newfoundland and Labrador. The island of Newfoundland is out actually in the North Atlantic, so we get hammered by some pretty severe winter storms, and we got to be prepared for that. You get it figured out there, Grey?
I think so. I'm going to save and see and hope that it works that way. I've never done something on the fly like this, but we'll see. I'm going to jump over it because I probably missed a bunch of stuff in chat, but there we are. What's up, Iceman, Freaky Geek, Scan Family? Some of the other folks in there. But yeah, I was like lost to where I was at and whatnot. Good to see everyone tonight. God bless. Hopefully that'll work for you folks that are asking about the captions. I don't know. YouTube's always given me issues with it. So, but moving on, right? Let's hope it works for those folks. What's up, Bland? What's up, Mr. Boots? A lot of great channels out here tonight. So, Charlie, it's I know. What is the weather like? What is your winters like out there in Newfoundland in your area?
Well, we get hammered with an awful lot of snow, and I guess my daily routine during the winter months is to wake up and clear the driveway, and then it's to go about my adventures. And normally in the winter is when I'm doing a little bit of rabbit snaring, and I'm trying to collect rabbits both for my family and for all the elders and stuff, and people that are not able to go out and collect rabbits for themselves. I just recently harvested my moose, so I got my fridge full of fresh moose meat for the winter. Bottled a lot of the moose. Bottling is a lot like canning, so it's a way to preserve the meat much longer. A bottle of moose can last 3 years easily. So yeah, so I recently harvested my moose. I didn't film it at the time. There was a few of the channels that I was following. We were talking about people getting demonetized for showing that kind of stuff and showing that kind of content. So I was a little worried about it. Since then, I did film my cousin Jackie. His grandson went out and got his first moose. I don't know if you got the opportunity to see that hunt, the Grey, where he got that 10-point bull.
Yeah, that was amazing, brother.
Yeah.
I need to comment more often other than just watch, but usually I'm watching on the TV as I'm sitting relaxing in the evenings because of the scenery, specifically. Great scenery. Where you at? I know someone, Peter, Newfoundland is part of Canada. So whatever Canadian laws are, that usually kind of floats around that general area.
100%.
Because I know some people, it'd be nice if you had your own. Newfoundland was its own entity. It's way up there almost. But man, I was looking at the map the other day. I was like, man, you're really close to Greenland.
Yeah, we're up there, and we do get harsh, like winter storms. I've seen winter storm wind warnings that were 190 kilometers.
Wow.
That's a Cat 3 hurricane.
Mm.
And there's no problem for us to get 50, 60, 70 centimeters of snow. It's crazy the amount of snow and the wind and everything that we get. And here, I don't know. I guess all over North America now, it seems like it's getting windier and windier. I don't know if you're experiencing the same thing way down south, but up here, when the sun rises, the wind rises, and when the sun falls, the wind kind of falls. So it seems like the wind rises and falls with the sun up here now.
It's here as of late in my area, my part of Florida, it has been a little bit windier, and we expect winds throughout the week, anywhere from 10 to 15 miles an hour to gusts between 20 to 25. I'm not sure if it's a front moving in or whatnot, but I'm keeping an eye on it because a lot of my plants, my new plants, because I'm still growing. I know some people like yourself, I'm pretty sure your growing season is done. But I'm still got things growing. I got new plants going in. I'm going to try to go throughout the entire year here to see what's going on. What's up, Ozark NFO? Lily B, how you doing? Hopefully if I missed anybody, thank you for being here. So Charlie, I'm just really curious because I know your population density is very nil compared to your average city populations and whatnot. So you're kind of more dependent on the things that you've prepped all year, for your food for your family and things like that. I'm assuming you have some sort of backup generators and fuel, all these things that you got to get prepared for before this winter comes in and kind of keeps you where you're at per se, right? Because I know you have snowmobiles and stuff because I've seen you do some snowmobiling last year.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk a little bit about that, man, I'm really curious for the folks that are like in your situation. I have a lot of Canadians that follow the channel, but also in the North American part where they get lots of heavy snows. And it's predicted to be a very cold winter, so we'll see.
Yeah, we always had two sources of heat. Recently, we lost one of those sources. It was a wood stove. We had to take it out because my father-in-law, when we retired, my wife and I moved back with my mother-in-law. My father-in-law just recently passed away, and he had Alzheimer's. So it was too dangerous to have the wood stove in the house. He would get up in the middle of the night because it's something that he always did. Stog the wood stove full of wood and then go back to bed. And sometimes you forget to close the door. You know what I mean? So it was very dangerous. Mm-hmm. So in the future we're going to have. I'm him and Han about this heat pump system. Is it half pumps or heat pumps or it's a new, I guess, must have up here. It gives you air conditioning in the summer and heat in the winter, but there's nothing better in my opinion than the wood heat. The good old fashioned wood heat is something that is always dependable, and come winter when you lose power, you got a means of cooking and you got a means of staying warm, and everything that you have in your freezer can go up into the snowbank. Because
that's a bonus there, man. To have that option, you know what I mean. Here in Florida, it never gets that cold enough to kind of do that, man. I haven't seen snow in probably 20 years, brother.
Yeah. So, and years ago, we always had cellars for keeping the vegetables, right? Because nothing keeps a vegetable better than a cellar. I don't know what it is, but keeping the vegetables in the ground is you can have vegetables in a cellar, and when you harvest your new season's vegetables, your old season vegetables are still good to eat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
It's amazing.
I threw it up there. Blant's Promised Land Ranch's heat pumps are not good in temps below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. If you guys are happen to be talking about the same thing.
Yeah, I think we are definitely talking about the same thing. So that's good to know, because I think 30 degrees Fahrenheit is 0 degrees, right?
It's yeah. You're gonna try to make me do
It's
this
freezing.
math.
What's freezing for you guys? 32 or 30?
32 and below is freezing. Yes, 32,
32 and below.
32 degrees
Okay.
Fahrenheit is freezing here.
So for us, we use Celsius, and it's 0 and below.
Right.
Once it hits 0, it's freezing. So yeah, in the winter months, generally, we are below 0 degrees. So we are, we'd be in the 20s. Yeah, and colder. Yeah. I've seen it. I've seen the coldest I've ever seen here was a wind chill of minus 65 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that works out in Fahrenheit.
And I'm pretty sure someone in chat's quicker than I am with that conversion, but it sounds extremely cold, no matter how you look at it, Charlie.
Yeah, well, everything was closed. You couldn't go outside. It's let me see here. See if I can convert that for us right quick.
Not a problem, brother. RWR, what is up? I seen you pop in there. I seen a few folks. Yeah, Frosty for sure, Bell Prepper. I agree. Avalanche Knit, how you doing?
That would be minus 85 Fahrenheit.
Wow, minus 85 degrees Fahrenheit. You couldn't walk out your house, brother.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure everything is absolutely frozen. You have to definitely shelter in place to the aspect of and hope you have everything that you need inside that place.
Oh, you take a hot boiling cup of water and you open the door and throw it, and it just instantly goes to a mist and to fog.
That's nuts.
Water don't hit the ground. It's just fog.
So how do you prepare for something like that? I mean, it's like in my head, I'm thinking like you better have everything that you possibly need, to survive, especially if you have small children or grandchildren or older people in your home.
Yeah.
Pantry Mama, thank you so much for joining the G Spot. Oh man.
How do you prepare for that? You really don't. I mean, that is extreme temperatures. That doesn't happen very often. I don't ever remember getting anywhere near that cold. But we had one winter storm when I was young, and it was northern Alberta. I did 4 years in Cold Lake, and minus 40. I think the kids still went to school. They still rode the bus right up until minus 50.
Wow.
Right? At minus 50, it says it's too cold to go to school. Minus 49 is still okay. Go to school. You guys can tough that out.
Yeah. Then you add the wind chill in there, and it's even worse.
Oh yeah. Well, you get going down the road. When I was in Cold Lake, your tires are square when you first start off. You know how they sit flat, the bottom part of your tire, the weight of the car. Well, when you start driving at that temperature, everything is so cold. Your seat, it doesn't compress. You sit in your seat and it's hard.
Wow.
You start driving, it's hard to turn your power steering wheel and everything because the fluids and everything are all so thick and there's no viscosity there at all, right? And the tires are going as you get going. They kind of warm up and reshape and go round again. But yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, when you get those kind of temperatures, you got to be prepared. You got to have a heat source, and you got to be a good clothes. And for me, my go-to clothes for winter, and especially damp winter, like where we're to now, Newfoundland, we've been getting milder and milder winters. And very rarely do we see minus 20 degrees Celsius now. Like the majority of our winter, we'll probably sit in somewhere between minus 10 and minus 20, probably more so in the minus maybe 8 to minus 15. That would probably be more where our temps lay. So that's not so bad, That's easily survivable, but we do have, like, if you're out in Alberta, for instance, you lie in the snow. It's a cold, dry environment. So you can go out, you can lie in the snow, and you're not even getting wet. You do that in Newfoundland, you're going to get wet because there's a lot of moisture in the snow.
Right.
So wool clothes is an absolute necessity. Wool is probably still the best winter survival piece of kit that you can have. I know
I agree.
They're coming out with a lot of new synthetic products and stuff, but for me, it's still wool. Yeah.
No, I agree with you 100%. Like, what's the size of your family, Charlie, if you don't mind me asking?
Like mine
Like in your home.
right here, right now, is just me, my wife, and my mother-in-law.
Okay.
All my children are growing up. I have 3 children and 7 grandchildren.
Awesome. Because I was thinking in my head, like how much meat, vegetables, like how much do you have to prep for everybody's food during the wintertime and stuff like that. I was trying to think in my head, like, because I know you do a lot of hunting in the spring. Well, I guess there's certain seasons you can only do certain things because, of course, there's laws and whatnot in place.
We do most of our fishing is in the spring. We got most of our fish for the winter months, and then it's hunting in the fall. But normally, you can get a moose or half a moose, and that normally carries over good because we do give away a lot of meat. People who need meat, we give meat to. It's always a good thing because here we're on a draw system to get moose licenses. Now, I normally get my moose license every single year. I'm normally lucky enough to get in the draw. But some years, like I know some people that get a license every 3rd year. So they have this barter system with many people. So that every year they at least get a quarter of moose. So when they get their moose, they keep 1/4 for themselves and they share out 3/4. So you know what I mean? So there's a constant supply of fresh meat coming in, and yeah, I guess moose and bears in Newfoundland, yeah, and caribou. Freaky geek.
Yeah, Pony Girl says moose meat wilder tasting than elk or deer.
What's that? My favorite, I don't even know if I should say this. The most tastiest meat that I've ever eaten was bottled cougar.
Really?
Yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But as far as a hoof mammal goes, my favorite meat, and I've tried everything, even when I was in Alberta, the elk and the buffalo and all that stuff. My favorite would have to be big stag woodland caribou, got in the early season, the bow season, when the horns are still in velvet, before they get into the rut, before they start getting musky and smelly, and an early season woodland caribou is by far my most favorite, other than the cougar.
I get a couple questions that popped up for you. Bizza says, what's the annual snowfall up there each winter on average?
Well, that's a good question, and I'm going to have to Google that one. I don't know. Annual snowfall in.
It's funny that you're doing that, because earlier when I was researching Newfoundland, because I was curious about a few things, is what it was talking about rain and stuff like that. You guys get a lot of rain and stuff right before winter moves in.
Yeah.
But it depends on what part, because I guess it fluctuates depending on what part of Newfoundland you're in. If you're in the northern region, it's more Arctic up there versus the southern region.
Yeah. The annual saying here is 154 inches. Did you get that, Grey?
104?
154.
154 inches. Okay.
Inches, yeah.
That's a lot of snow.
That is a lot of snow.
Beats my Michigan record. When I lived in Michigan, we got some crazy snows up there. But and then James Davis wanted to know, what was the difference between jarring and canning meat?
It's basically the same thing, but we use the mason jars with the lids that have, I guess, a removable top on the lids. And as you bottle them and prepare them and cook them, and you'll hear the lids go, and that means you got a real good seal type thing, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically this similar process, but under a different name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the nice thing about bottling them is you get to see the meat, and you get to see, you can see through the glass bottles, so like, hey, it's time to start eating on this case, or it's time to start. So nothing goes to waste. Nothing goes to waste. That's the one thing we got to eat everything.
Yeah, and Dino Walters is way up in Michigan, and what Michigan differs with its snowfall, especially in Upper Peninsula, because they have the lake effect snows. So they got this wet, nasty snow. Chill you to the bone, man. Chill you to the bone.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. There's lots of places that gets a lot of snow, but ours we get the winds, eh? It's brutal, the winds that we get here. So we get drifting. So a lot of these trails, let me see if I can find, let me show you something here. I'm going to change my backdrop here right quick. Did I do it? Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, it switched up.
Yeah, so let me see. I need to get over on this side here. So I don't know if you can see right behind me here, but you have these little valleys and stuff in these bogs, and they're like little ravines type thing, where the snow will blow so hard and you get so much snow, it blows across all the flat open area, and it collects into these little valleys. So there's places here it'll drift in totally across. Trees will be 13, 14, 15 feet high, and you don't even see the tops of trees. It's all snow. So when you're going up traveling this area in the winter, you got to know where you're going, where you're traveling, because if you don't, you could be riding on top of snow, but the snow hasn't been settled, meaning it's hung and clung on the branches of the trees. So you can fall through and be 15 feet down in a hole.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty important to know where to go and when to go and where safe travel is. And if you're not familiar with this country, you can get yourself into an awful lot of trouble here in a hurry. I do. Oh,
No, I was thinking of we had a conversation in the previous live that we did about when you travel and what you need to put in your vehicle because in case something happens to your vehicle during the wintertime, you got to have enough supplies for several days, maybe a week, just in case.
Yeah. So normally when I go traveling back here, I do most of my traveling by myself, and you see all these mountains behind me here. I've been on every single one of them, and you can drop me off anywhere in this country, all around, blindfolded, and I'll figure out in not too short of time where I'm to and how to get out of there. I've been over all of it, both winter and summer, and but generally traveling in the winter here, tow rope, a come along. Let me see. Um, yeah, tow rope, come along, a tarp, axe, saw, snowshoes, mandatory snowshoes. I take ice cleats, something that I can slip over my boots in case, depending on where I break down, if I'm walking on ice or crust or time of year, right? Because in March month is almost everybody's most favorite time to go skidooing and to go exploring. And the reason being is in March, sometimes the daytime temperatures get into the pluses. So the snow starts to melt. At night, it drops off to below freezing. So it gets a real hard base across the beach. So basically, you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere back in the woods. But you still can run yourself into an awful lot of trouble. But if you're traveling early morning or late night in around the March-April timeframe, you can you may need cleats to walk on the crust.
Right.
Because when the snow gets soft during the day, then it freezes, hard packs, then you're walking on crust. So you'll need your snowshoes, you need your ice cleats, you need your axe, you need your all that stuff, and tinder and stuff. If you want, you can have different types of fire starting material. Normally, I always have a ferro rod, and normally I'll take a lighter of some sort, right? So
Yeah, no,
more than one source of making a fire, and depending on where I'm going or what I'm doing, I could have something like cotton balls and petroleum jelly for a fire starter, or just birch bark, right?
yeah, birch bark, phenomenal stuff. I wish I had that down here.
Oh, we got lots of it here, Well, yeah.
I should make you ship me a bunch of birch bark my way, man.
Yeah. Oh, we got so much of it, and it really is a good tinder, a good fire starter. Yeah, it's basically all you need. But yeah, there are still some better stuff. And there's times like if we get ice storms and stuff, there's times like if I'm going up on my skidoo and as after an ice storm, I'll get those little cans of sternal. You just drop a match into a sternal can, and that'll burn for 2 hours or 4 hours, depending on the size of your sternal can. If you can't get your fire going with the 2 hour burning, you know what I mean? Then you're in trouble.
Pony Girl made me think of something, because you've taken folks out there to do some hunting expeditions and whatnot, haven't you? Out in the wilderness with you?
Oh yeah. I'm a registered guide. I've been guiding for a very, very long time. I started guiding as a non-registered guide for my dad's friends. My dad was crippled up pretty bad, and guys that he worked with, if they couldn't get a moose, he'd say, "Well, get Charlie to take you out." I was only 13 years old, and I was taking men out into the woods. But like I said, I've been in the woods. Dad has had me in the woods since the age of 3. At the age of 5,
Hmm.
I knew how to make a whistle, an alder whistle. What you do there is you cut an alder about yay big around, about yay long, and about this big around. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. And you cut probably about an inch and a half back from the end of it, and you cut it right around, and then you tap it with the bark with your knife, and then you try to move the bark. Once you can get that bark sliding off, then you notch out your whistle, and then you slide the bark back over and notch out where you would notch out for a whistle, and then you got a survival whistle. Better than yelling, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So at the age of 5, I knew how to make a whistle. I knew how to make fire. I knew how to make shelter. Yeah, and I was trained in how to blaze trails and follow blaze trails and stuff. So I was able to go out on the land with the men when the men went out, when a lot of my older cousins weren't, because Dad took the time to train me. And at the age of 5 is when I started trapping with Dad and grandfather, rabbit snaring, hunting constantly with them. At the age of 7, I could tie my own salmon flies. So, yeah.
I put Christopher's thing up there because he says, I study plant medicine, great side hobby with the bushcraft foraging techniques. And I was like, I said, Charlie, you do some of that yourself, don't you?
Yeah, and where we're to here on the west coast of Newfoundland, it is absolutely phenomenal for like medicine walks or wild edibles. I mean, we have a ton between the medicines and the wild edibles. We probably got about 120 different plants and mushrooms and stuff like there that we can utilize here. So one day, Grey, one day, when we get this COVID thing straightened out, I would love to get 2 of my friends to come here and sit down with you, Byron Alexander and his fiancee Jasmine.
Okay.
I am telling you, these guys are every day foraging wild carrots and you name it, the stuff that you don't even think you can eat. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of mile a minute or elephant ears. I don't know what the proper term is. What is a plant that you see growing around a lot of houses? A really great big leaf plant.
Yeah, I think if that's because the same term we use down here in Florida, because we have elephant ears down here. If it's the same plant, they
It
grow.
has stalks and then these great big plants, and they're like a weed. They'll grow anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the stalks of them, you can make jelly and jams and stuff like that out of that.
Really?
Like, oh, it's unbelievable the amount of stuff that we have here. We from the wild peas and stuff. So what I want to do, and I've talked to Byron and Jasmine, and we are going to do a series. We are going to do a series, and it's going to walk you guys through all the different wild edibles and wild medicines that we have here, and we're going to show you what it is, what to look for, and when to harvest it, and why to harvest it, and why not to harvest it, and then how to prepare it and preserve it.
That guy right there.
No, that's not the we got a different one than that. Ours is it has the same like big leafy plant, but many leaves off the same stalk.
Interesting, because here they're classified as elephant ear as also where's it at? I swear I saw something with taro, but I can't find it. But I was digging around to see if I could find it for you.
Yeah, let me see.
Pamela Sherry says with pink, if it's tart sour, it's rhubarb. Right, D14. But honestly, Charlie, that would be awesome. I would love to have those folks on there. I don't know if you've ever watched me with Mark over at Rolling Homestead, because he is huge into the wild edible and medicinal plants as well.
Yeah. No, we've always been into the medicinal and wild edibles, but not at the level that Byron and them are doing. Like, let me see if I can find something for you here, Grey. This is something that we're getting analyzed, and this is a very small one here, but we took it anyways. I don't know if you guys can see that. Where's the camera?
Looks like a seed. Is that a seed?
Well, what that is, that's a truffle.
Oh, a truffle. Oh, those are the rich people things, is what I call those.
They grow in the ground, and there's only been 3 Newfoundlanders that we know of that has found truffles, and that's myself and Byron and Jasmine. And
interesting.
how normally you need dog or pigs to help you find the truffles, but what we do is we go out and see where the rodents have been digging. If there's no rhyme or reason, and there's not actually holes and tunnels, but if you see them scratching around on the ground, then we'll get down there and we start digging, and sure enough, we're into truffles. So we're getting plants and stuff analyzed here, and funguses and stuff that don't grow anywhere else in the world, but we have them here. Like the west coast of Newfoundland is like a smorgasbord. Like, between their land skills and my hunting skills, we can go on the land and live out the rest of our dying lives.
Yeah, I saw something pop up. It's funny you mentioned the whole thing. So there's a movie on I think it's Netflix or one of those channels like that with Nicolas Cage. It's called Pig, and it's all about a pig that finds truffles, and it's like this prize pig and whatnot. That's what made me think of, brother, when you were saying that. And then we had someone that says, who was it that said that they lived in Newfoundland? Let me see here. Freaky Geek says, when I lived in Newfoundland, I was shocked to learn that many fishermen can't swim.
And that's a lot to do with sometimes the age that the fishermen started fishing. Most of them left school early. Most of them never learned how to swim. Most of them it's the North Atlantic, so it's very, very cold. So it's not a spot that is favorable for learning how to swim. Now, that being said, there are parts around here like Black Bank, which is probably only about, I would say, not more than 15-minute drive from where I'm living now. And there is, we have an area called the gut. And what feeds into the gut is a multi-river system, and it's a big a brackish water, half fresh, half salt water, affected by the tides. So all the sediment that came down for thousands and thousands upon thousands of years have come down. There's formed these great big sandy deltas, and out at Black Bank, you can be, I'm 100 yards away from shore and still up to your waist or your chest in water. Now, you'll have spots where it'll be over your head, and then next thing you know, you're up to your waist, and then you'll be over your head, and you're up to your chest, you know. But the water in those locations are fairly warm. But then you get some dogfish and stuff like that around. And dogfish is a type of shark. I think it grows somewhere between 3 to 5 feet long. And there have been times when Black Bank has been closed just due to the number of sharks or dogfish in the area. Now, our waters are after warming up. I think it's something like 4 degrees Celsius in the last number of years. And we have great whites that have been tagged, and these great whites are coming up and circling the island as part of their annual migration northward in the summer months.
Now, before I forget, Charlie, let's talk, because let me see, we are about 42 minutes in. Time flies when we're having a good conversation. I wanted you to speak a little bit about Newfoundland Knife Co.
Okay, so for all of you now joining, there's 2 discount codes that you can use. One is NLGhostWolf10. The other one is GreyMan10. And what that will do, these 2 codes, these 2 discount codes, don't have an expiry date. So you'll get 10% off the Newfoundland Knife Company anytime you order something like a little silky saw here. I have a number of them. He has a number of them, all different sizes. You know, right up to the big boys.
Silky's my favorite, man.
Oh, Silky! If anybody hasn't used a Silky saw yet, you know, if you're into survival and prepping, it's more expensive, but his prices beats Amazon prices. There's not too many places you can go to beat Amazon prices, and he'll beat Amazon prices. Plus, you guys get a 10% discount on top of that. He has a little bit of merch, like Newfoundland Knife Company, little hat here. Don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, I had the link and my my discount code down below, so that you guys can find the Newfoundland Knife Co. Got some really good stuff in there. I'm a fan of the axe.
Yeah, he makes paracord hunting slings. Nice to have, especially if you get in trouble. You got lots of rope. He makes a bunch of different hunting slings or rifle slings. And this axe, let me see. Grey. I'll try and pronounce it, but I'm definitely going to shag it up here. And it's a Hultafors. It's made out of Sweden. This company has been in business since the 1600s. I don't know if you guys can see this axe or not. It's a dandy. It has a really nice handle. Nice weight to it. Beautiful axe. But he's called the Newfoundland Knife Company, so I guess Grey, I got to show off some of his knives, eh?
Yeah, he does some custom knives as well, folks.
This is one of his knives. Beautiful knife.
That handle is amazing.
Yeah, and it comes in different colors too. The other one is I don't know if you would call it charcoal or black or.
Yeah, the black, I call it's like a flat black that he has on his website that I saw that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to buy that one.
Yeah, yeah. So he's got these little guys. See here, it really stays into the sheath really nice and good.
You can almost use that as a neck knife, kind of like what I got here.
Yeah, so this is what it's designed. It's designed to be carried on sideways, basically, right?
Okay.
Or up and down, but it can be carried two ways, and it's not going to slip out. Like I'm tugging on that pretty hard. You literally got to take your thumb and push forward while you pull it back with your hand to slide it out. So you push it in until you hear an audible seeding of the knife.
Shadow Scout Swede says, yeah, we make really good axes here in Sweden.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm telling you. Well, you've been doing it for 400 or 500 years. So if you can't be good at it then, how much practice do you need? Yeah, no, beautiful, beautiful knives.
Yes. Speaking of which, folks, I'll let you go. I'll let you finish, Charlie, before I get into my little spiel here.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. And he's got these folding blade ones as well. Beautiful knife as well. Nice handle. Who makes this heli knife? I don't know. Geez, I have to put on my glasses for this one, folks. Made in Norway. So this is a Norwegian knife. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Norwegian, nice.
Heli Dakas, I guess. A heli Daka.
Anything not made in China is good usually.
Yeah, well, geez, I guess pretty much we got to get used to the made in China symbol the way they've been running, eh?
Yeah, for sure, brother.
Yeah.
What's the store to get that knife? Pamela Sherry, it's down below in my description under this video. You'll see the link to the company and my discount code alongside that link. So Pamela, check it out. I advise all you folks, at least go check out the website. I said any information that I ever present to you guys, be it like Charlie's links down there, all my social media links down there, my Gmail, my P.O Box, my affiliate links, all that stuff like that. Because basically what Charlie has kind of offered me, and as well as the knife company, is I'm going to be a consistent affiliate with these folks. So it's always going to be down there in my description.
So if you're into prepping, these are must-have tools, I think. You need a good knife, you need a good axe, and you need a good saw.
Yeah, I mean, I might have a problem, Charlie. I can just sit here and start pulling random stuff out of all kinds of places. I think I can probably go here for a while.
Yeah, I wish I could reach over and grab some of the knives that Fodder had made. Nice. We had a pulp and paper mill here, and nice. You got a few knives there. Should I be worried?
Yeah, I know, right? I'm just a sucker for knives, brother. I love. They just have various knives have various purposes. I do have some that I carry with me on an EDC or everyday carry, something I carry with me all the time, a multi-purpose knife. But then I have certain knives that I use for specifics, be it if I'm going hunting and whatnot. So, and just like on his website, I saw that he has a nice knife where you can use to skin with and cut meats.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see the thickness of the metal in this one here.
Yeah, that almost looks like a quarter inch.
Quarter inch. That is, you wouldn't believe how heavy and how solid this knife is. It is, and it's got a good feel. It's got a nice grip to it, and it's a dandy knife. I gotta say, you can't go wrong, and excellent people to deal with. Excellent people to deal with. So that's the other half of it, right?
But I want to thank you for hooking me up with the company, man. I think that's pretty awesome. I plan on buying some of the things myself. I'm even pondering this, Charlie. Like I said, we know we got to 10K. I'm wondering how long, if I bought something, it would take to get to me, because I was thinking about maybe giving something away here soon.
Oh wow, that would be great. That would be great.
Hint,
So
hint, folks.
sounds like there's going to be a giveaway. Yeah, and there's some quality. He's got quality product too. Like he's not going to sell you anything trashy. For folding saws, for years and years, I always go out and I'd buy the cheapest. And I guess that's, as you go through the different stages and of your life, and of some people call it bushcraft, some people call it prepping. For me, it was about being a woodsman. But the older you get, I think the wiser you get, and the less you want to be going out and getting replacements. You want to take something in that is of high quality and that lasts. And I'm telling you, these silky saws and these knives and these axes, you got an axe company that's been around since the 1600s. They're obviously doing something right.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, there's only a few axes. I have some cheap stuff, man. That it's just stuff that I've gotten, from stores here locally. But like that axe, I really intrigued by that one. And there's some of the brands like Husqvarna and There's some Norwegian brands that I'm interested in as well. But there's some good gear out there, and it's nice to have a nice pack axe, man.
Oh yeah, you gotta have it. You gotta have it. Like, and that can also be used in self-defense. You know.
Oh man. North and South Homesteads, y'all talking about many manly knives while I sit here eating unicorn sprinkle ice cream.
Hey, he was man enough to admit it.
Peter House says, as long as you ship to New Zealand. That's funny. Well, if I do a giveaway and you're out in Canada or New Zealand, I could just have him shipped directly to you. So that's an option as well, folks. What's up, Raptor Ranch? Yeah, and like I said, we'll talk about that Thursday. So if you guys are really interested I got a lot of things to go over on Thursday night. I don't want to take away from my interview here with Charlie right now, but join me Thursday night. I'm gonna be going over a lot of the 10K stuff and giveaways and all kinds of other hodgepodge of a bunch of things. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. And before it gets too much later, Charlie, I wanted to talk to you about I know you do a lot of getting a lot of rabbits usually in the wintertime, I think, if I recall from your videos from last year.
Yeah.
And
well, we're starting to get ticks now. Ticks have been migrating further and further up the eastern seaboard, and then they got into the eastern Canadian provinces, and now we're even getting ticks here. And actually, we have 9 different types of ticks that have been found in Newfoundland, including the black-legged tick, the Lyme disease tick, right?
Wow.
So currently, there are no known permanent resident black-legged ticks here. So they're saying they haven't found a healthy breeding black-legged tick colony yet. They're saying all the black-legged ticks that arrive to the island arrive on the migratory birds. So the one nice thing about winter, everybody, especially down in the south, knows, normally when the temperature drops below 4 degrees Celsius, I'm not sure what that works out in Fahrenheit, probably about 38 or so Fahrenheit. The ticks will start to go dormant. So in the winter is a good opportunity, a good time for us to go out and set snares. And the nice thing about it too is if something happens and you're not able to go out and tend to your snare, well, the cold Newfoundland snow and stuff is going to freeze that rabbit anyways. So you're not losing the rabbit. You know what I mean? You can go back a couple days later and still get your rabbit. So there are some advantages. Me personally, when I set snares or traps, I want to check them daily. But sometimes a winter storm will blow in, and it makes travel in the woods very difficult. Now, I've been out in the woods and I've been caught in some snow blinding blizzards.
Wow.
where you're hungry. Well, I'm talking gray, hard to see someone standing 6 feet in front of you. Total whiteouts. And when you get caught on big open country like this, my dad actually got caught on a blizzard out here. This is a huge bog, many miles long, many miles wide. and they were carrying a moose out in the winter, and they had a dog team, and they got caught into a blinding snowstorm. And Dad, he said, I just hope for the best. He said, I kept the wind was hitting me on my right cheek. He said, I kept my right cheek into the wind, and he said, I mushed the dogs all the way down to the tree line. And he said, when I hit the trailhead, he said, I was only about 50 yards from the trailhead. So he came across miles of open country and landed within yards of the trail. And once you get into the trail, now you're in shelter because of all the thick forests and trees. You can see how thick the trees and stuff are here. Once you get into the evergreens and stuff, then you're starting to see, you're getting some visibility length and stuff, because the snow is not able to penetrate in through the trees like it can in the open country, right? And the winds are blocked as well.
I was going to say, I know, what was I going to say is that I know you're an experienced trapper, so you're good with snares and stuff like that. And I was going to ask you, like, on the average, how many rabbits do you get when you do snares, like a day? Like when you go out and check the traps, do you get, like, you always get something every day, or is it just kind of hit and miss?
No, normally I get rabbits every day, and I don't normally set throughout the course of the whole entire winter. I'll go and get what we need and what the elders need. And normally the way I was raised is you feed the elders first. So I go and there's certain elders that I go and I snare rabbits for, and I bring this one a pair and this one 2 pairs and that one depending on how many people they have to feed. You know what I mean? So it varies. Normally, once I put somebody onto my rabbit list, I'll keep them there. So I have a bunch of. I see that, Lori. I actually started writing a book a long time ago, and I never did finish it. But yeah, and it was about how I was raised, and like I said, a very traditional way. In the woods with Dad from the age of 3, in the woods with the men at the age of 5, and been you know, I was a registered guide in multiple provinces, and yeah, I've guided some incredible folks. Loved it. It's behind me now. My military injuries are catching up. I have one mountain left to climb. I don't know if I have a picture of that mountain yet, but I've been on the top. All these mountains back here, I've been on the top of all of them. I know the names of every single one. I know the ravines. And folks, if you can see right here behind me, we call that place up there Planet Mars. This is the oldest rock you will find in the world. This comes from an ancient seabed before the formation of Pangea. That's the Earth. It's the Earth's mantle. I don't know if you can see it back here. It's the Earth's mantle. Normally, rock on planet Earth don't live more than 200 million years, because of plate tectonics and stuff, and it's because of the chromite that they found in this land that they've proven that where the ground come from, and it was the Earth's mantle. So we can walk on the Earth's mantle here. That's pretty rare, pretty unique, and it's an ancient seabed before the formation of Pangea.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
the history behind it is really cool. You know, it's you know, I'm thinking of YouTube, man, and I'm looking at, you know, how many people we have in chat and stuff like that, and your experience, your knowledge, and how important it is to pass it on to folks, things that you offer. And I hope some of the folks will check out your channel. And you know, it's funny, if we were sitting here right now talking about, let's worst case scenario, let's say politics and the end of days of the world, we'd probably have 1,000 people in chat. But when it comes to education and knowledge it seems like people are not as interested as you would assume them to be, you know?
Yeah. Do you want to show them? Can you show a little clip of, like, you share screen and show them a little clip of one of my videos?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, I'll tell you which one to pull up.
It won't let me probably won't let me do audio, but I can show the clip of the video because I can
Okay.
pull up your channel and do that if you folks in chat don't mind.
Just I'll get you to go to let me see here. Where is it? Okay. Supper on a Pole, Rabbit Snaring Fall 2021 Part 1. If you can find that video.
What's the name of it?
Rabbit Snaring Fall
2021
Part 1.
Okay, I'm on part 3, part 2. There's part 1.
Okay.
All right.
And go to about 12 minutes and 19 seconds.
12 minutes and 19 seconds. Oh, right on the money. All right, let me share my screen. Pamela Sherry, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, does Ghost Wolf think the La Palma volcano will fully erupt? I don't know, Charlie, if you follow that.
I wasn't following it, but you know, planet Earth is due for a change, and we are in changing times. That's for sure. There's a lot of native prophecies that talks about this, and we are entering that time. So,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
I froze.
Oh,
can you hear me, Charlie?
I can hear you. We can
All right,
hear you.
so I'm going to have to bounce out, and then I'm going to bounce back in. All right?
Okay. All right.
So you're going to be in charge for a moment.
All right, folks. Never good to leave me in charge. Yep, Harvey Black has shared the link with folks as well, and this is something that what I'm about to show you, I'm hoping that Grey can show you, is a survival technique or skill that we use, and it's snare pulling grouse, and you can do it with grouse, both ruffled and spruce, and you can do it with partridge. And I've caught grouse, both ruffled and spruce in my bare hands using this technique. And wow, Grey, you're all over the place now, brother.
I know.
What's up? There's two Greys.
What is going on here?
Yeah, I'd say that that volcano is going to erupt. Who asked that question? We've got two Greys now, so this is not good.
Thanks, Charlie, for helping out, brother. Yeah. I don't know what happened, but it did what it's did. But I think I'm on the money here. Let me pull this up. This is it right here, right?
Yeah, that's it. So what I'm doing there is I got a snare tied to the end of that pole. If can you turn on the volume there, Grey?
I don't think it'll pick up, brother.
Right on the very bottom. Yeah, it will.
It might echo.
That's I'm making a call. This is a call that I learned how to make to call grouse. So this is a technique that we use because, like I said, grew up sometimes poor. Sometimes my dad wasn't able to work for a few years straight just because of his injuries, and bullets were sometimes hard to come by. So we learned to preserve our bullets by doing things like what you're about to see here. And this is a way that we would get meals, and you know, Mom would often send me out to get a meal.
Oh wow!
So that's how you get you know. So you'll see stuff like that there. I am a nature lover, big time nature lover, but I understand the importance of conservation. I was a registered trapper for the DNR of Nova Scotia, Department of Natural Resources. I was a wildlife nuisance operator, where I would be sent out to trap nuisance wildlife. And I've seen what happens when the animal populations explode and overcome the carrying capacity of the land. And I've seen healthy animals slowly succumb to disease like distemper and stuff. And it takes them weeks and months to finally succumb to their injuries and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people like that, brother. And that's what I like about you, Charlie, is there's some people, like myself, I need to do more things out there in the wilderness myself if I have the opportunities to, but you're out there doing the things, brother. You're out there doing the things, man.
I got videos where I show how to catch grouse with my bare hands. I got videos where I've I don't know what I've got done here. Let me see here. Grey, where are you, Grey?
Did you lose me now?
Well, I kind of did. And I don't know how I lost you. Let me see if I can knock that off. Okay, yeah, here we go. Stuff coming back. There we go. There you are, buddy.
Oh, man.
I've lost the chat now. Unfortunately, I can't find the chat.
Well, I got a question for you from Wild Nesting. He's asking, how long did it take you to learn to do that, Charlie?
Not that long, really. I've been playing with animals, wild animals, ever since I was a boy. I've had a really good connection, and the thing is, when I go out, sometimes I'll make friends that are animals, and when I befriend an animal, then I'll never hunt that animal. It almost becomes like a sacred bond. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I use this technique to make friends with animals, but I also use this technique to hunt. So it's all on my intent. But once I have had a really good, close interpersonal interaction with an animal, whether it be a moose or whatever, then I don't go back to that area to hunt. I leave those animals alone because I don't want to break that bond, I guess. And I think if you do things in a good way, then you'll be rewarded kind of in a good way. Grey, I screwed up my whole.
Brother, on a live stream, you never know what's going to happen.
I know what to do here. Hang on.
So when that happens to me, my viewer yell, "Stop pushing buttons, Kim."
I got it all straightened out again. I don't know how I did it, but yeah. But yeah, I got tons of videos, and maybe I need to start doing some live streams and going back over some of these videos. I've got videos where I've got a grouse that actually comes up and sits in my lap. I play with them with my hand. I got videos where I'm walking through the woods and I got a grouse that's following me like a puppy dog. I've played with it for so long and called it so long and stuff. And yeah, I've had a lot of really wonderful experiences with wildlife, and sometimes I talk about it. Maybe I need to go back and rehash that.
Mike Stiles says you're the Grizzly Adams of Canada.
Yeah, I've like I said, I remember one time I was probably about 12 years old, and I was trapping at the time, and I ended up catching a rat. What happened was, where I grew up, we didn't grow up within the boundaries of Stephenville, Newfoundland. We grew up across the Hanson Highway, called a place called Queen Street Extension. And later, the town came up and I say captured us because when I was a boy, we were allowed to have sheep and pigs and cows and chickens and stuff like there, and plant and all that stuff. But once we became in town limits, then we weren't allowed to have any livestock at all, right? So our whole way of life kind of changed for us. But I was trapping, and what happened was, as the town grew and expanded, the there was the dump needed to be, and it was just an open pit dump, like it was a garbage dump, and they didn't have an incinerator there, and there wasn't recycling at that time. It was just garbage dump. So there was a lot of bears and a lot of rats and all that stuff. So what happened? They decided that because of the number of bears and stuff that were seen in town, because of the rat problem, where the rats migrated from the dump into town, they needed to bury in that dump and move it further back. And when they did that, a lot of the rats moved down into town, and I was going out and trapping rats, and I ended up trapping this one rat one day, and I ended up tying it to a pole because I looked in the tree and there was a little owl there, and it was only a small owl, about yay big, and so I started walking around with this rat tied to a rabbit snare on the end of this long pole, and the owl would swoop down and grab the rat. Finally, after a few hours of playing with this owl, the owl would come and perch on my shoulder and perch on my arm. So I could walk around the whole entire neighborhood all that day with this little owl. And he'd fly away, and then he'd come back and he would perch on me. And my friends would be there, and he wouldn't perch on any of my friends. I guess he knew who I was, I guess. And he felt safe with me, and he would come perch on my shoulder, and I'd walk around the neighborhood with a pet owl that day. But yeah, it was neat. I've walked with wolves, I've walked with moose, I've walked with deer, I've walked with mule deer. I've had lots of experience. I've hand fed, and I know it's not a good idea. You should never hand feed the animals, but I've hand fed wild foxes and stuff like that there.
That's pretty cool, man. If you guys have any questions for Charlie, we're already at an hour and 12 minutes. Usually I try to run for at least an hour, but I get carried away sometimes with this great information. But if you guys have any questions before we end the stream, put them all in all caps, and I'll try to field some questions at Charlie for a couple of minutes here before we wrap up the stream tonight, folks. But I think the folks like you, Charlie, and they're probably going to be checking out your channel, man. A lot of folks are enjoying, man.
We'll go back beyond a year, because this was a pretty rough year. My wife was diagnosed with cancer last year. She had a surgery in October of last year this time. So she had to go through chemotherapy and all that stuff. So for the last year, my content was very much just behind my house, just doing, getting out in and around. But if you go back to the earlier stuff, you'll see all sorts of stuff where I'm out in the field, out in cornfields with black bears, and I'm calling grouse, playing with grouse, catching grouse, hunting rabbits, hunting deer, you name it. If it has fur, feathers, and 4 legs, at one point in time, I probably hunted and ate it or trapped it. Go ahead, Grey.
My apologies. So Milo on the Reddit says, what are your power generation methods during the winters?
Power generation, as in
like if you do you use a generator? Are you you're attached to the grid? Do you have?
We're on the grid. We're on the grid here. Yeah, there are some people that you're starting to see some solar panels and stuff popping up here. Wind turbines. Still, we're waiting for the right one. There's some new designs now that seem to be a lot more wildlife friendly and stuff. But yeah, I definitely would be looking in the future for some alternative forms of energy for sure. Wind here would be huge. Water turbines, huge. But also, there's something about us being grounded too, and we're so bombarded with electrical. We're electrical beings. So when you're constantly smothered in induction with electricity and all that stuff, your body's not really working the way it should be, and just doing something simple like going bare feet out on the ground like 15-20 minutes a day, you wouldn't believe how good that is for your health and a lot of issues and your aches and pains. So yeah, it's you know, I hear stories of people talking about you know, older folks would say, you know, geez, take off your boots before you get sick, meaning you need to get grounded. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, there's lots
Exactly
of
right. JM says grounding is healing. I agree.
yeah. Yeah.
What's up, Arkansas? Grounding is good for plants also.
Absolutely. Like there's so much now modern science is starting to catch up with some of the stuff that was ancient wisdom passed down. Modern
Agreed.
science is starting to prove. So much stuff that I was taught and told as a young man, science is now proving like the connection is absolutely amazing. Thank you. How do you say that name?
Cindy Ham Kate.
Cindy Hankate. Well, thank you very much. She just had a bunch of tests done. She'll be, well, she's cancer free 1 year on the 22nd of October. Whatever. What's today?
Today is October 19th, if I recall correctly. Yep, 19th.
So in 3 days she'll be 1 year cancer free. Yeah. So that's good. Good stuff. But yeah, if there's any other questions, feel free to ask.
I'm looking.
I don't know if I'll have an answer.
I know, right?
But yeah, if you want to check out my channel, I do a lot of skidooing. You'll see me out a lot on the side-by-side. Cranberries, either freeze them or make jams out of them. Years ago, they would dry them. They would mesh them up and put them on like stones and stuff and dry them that way. Gray, are you froze again?
I'm not.
I see
No,
his
I'm
eyes shifting. You gotta shoot the eyes.
like, oh man, I love it. Iceman says, Charlie, do you plan on trapping rabbits this winter with your rabbit pens? Thanks.
Yes, for sure. I stopped in this series. Gray just showed you a little clip of I think it was part 1, eh?
Yeah, part 1 of 3 so far.
I think it might be 4.
4?
Part 4 is when I discovered ticks, and we got 9 different types of ticks, 5 of which are permanent and 4 are transient. 5 different types of ticks that will host on rabbits. So when I went down to our land down at Campbell's Creek, I ended up getting a rabbit that had ticks on it. I ended up pulling up all my snares. So now I'm going to wait for winter to kick in and go get a few rabbits, because the elders like that. Hopefully we get some snow. Hopefully winter sets in before December, because Christmas rabbit pies and stuff like there, and Christmas rabbit stews. A lot of traditional meals that we've had here will carry over, you know. So people look forward to certain types of food certain times of the year.
Let me see here. It says Avalanche Knit says, if you have kids, which they're older now, did you raise them with skills you were raised with?
Yes, I took them out in the woods and started them all off at a very early age. They since left, like most kids do. Like they had so much more distractions than what we did. Like we didn't have electronic games and stuff when we were kids. You know, a game for us was anything you did outside, whether it was a hockey stick or a baseball bat. You know, we did all our games outside, outdoors. And kids today, they grow up in front of computers and in front of Xboxes and stuff like that there. So Yeah, I did take them out, but they didn't carry it on. But I think they have enough skills that they can do okay for themselves, and they know what I do, and they've seen me do it, so they'll be okay.
Sherry Leach says, "Is there any partridges in Newfoundland?"
Yes, yep, absolutely. We got the rock ptarmigan and the oh geez, the willow ptarmigan or partridge. Yeah.
Raptor Ranch says, "Can you use the hides in winter?"
The hides. I don't know what he means by hides.
The hides of the rabbits? Let us know, Raptor. Not the singers of Partridge. Freaky geek. Oh, yeah. But I'll see if Raptor follows up with that. Let me see. Raptor Ranch. If you want to clarify that, brother. Rabbit hides. Like, the hides of rabbits. Like, would it use them as clothing in the winter? Is that what you guys are asking?
Rabbit is a very thin hided animal and tears very easily. Dad would use caribou hides, and he made us boots and snowshoe boots and mittens and stuff like that with that, and muskrat hats and beaver hats and stuff like that. Mink makes good gloves. Fox and coyote, all that are good hides. Rabbit hides are they're a very thin-skinned animal, not the most durable of hides to use. But yeah, you can use them, but you just use them carefully. I would say we don't use them.
Looking up something real quick.
Moose skin. We use moose skin for moose fur and stuff like that. A lot of times Italian flies and bear, same thing. But moose don't make good babish. Cowhides always made the good babish for the snowshoe. Hang on, let me see if I can grab 1 second here, folks. Hopefully, I don't knock anything over.
You're fine. I'll answer Bell Prepper's question. Grouse is not a partridge. Both are members of the pheasant family, along with the wild turkey and exotic ring-necked pheasant. The ruffed grouse is a thriving native game bird that ranges from Alaska to the northern Appalachians. So there is a difference between the two. I see some feathers and patterns, but who knows? They may all taste the same.
The ruffed grouse has a white meat, and the spruce grouse and the partridge have a red or darker meat. But this is what I call babish. This is a hide that we would get off the cows and the cattle that they used to keep when they butchered or killed beef at the end of the year. They would make babish for lacing up snowshoes. The wood here is what we call I'm trying to think of it. It's a yellow birch. We call it. Oh, it's left my mind. I can't even think of it. It will come to me. It'll come to me. Witch hazel. We call it witch hazel. But it's actually a yellow birch, and it makes really good wood for making axe handles, knife handles, snowshoes, backpack boards for packing out meat. I have a number of those made. Everything we used to do years ago was always on your back. So we had backpacks, carrying boards, whatever you want to call them, pack boards.
Pack boards, yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
I'm trying to see here. It says, have you had a special bond with a particular tree? Trees have great energy.
Well, you know, I really like the birch, but I've probably got more spruce in me. I have many scars all over me, around the eyes from playing hockey and stuff like that. But and cuts and stuff from being out in the woods with the axe, with the knives, and all that kind of stuff growing up. And dad used to put us back together with spruce gum, those little gum bubbles on the side of a spruce tree. He'd pop that,
Hmm.
and he'd put that into the wound, and then they tape it closed, and it was better than any stitch. Like, I have so many scars, you wouldn't believe, right down to the bone, all over my forehead, everywhere. And he did a really good job patching me up over the years, I can tell you.
Said Milo asks us, do you tan your moose hides?
No, dad used to do tanning and stuff, and he used to do brain tanning, and that's the one thing. You see, I left home when I was 21 and joined the military, and I've lost so much. Before that, you know, I would see dad and grandfather doing things, and the other men around, but I always assumed that they would be there. You know what I mean? And when
Yeah.
I was ready to learn, they would be there. But as it turned out, life is not always that way. So I lost out. Like, they could look at a tree, a witch hazel tree, and just by looking at the way the bark is running and everything on the tree, no, okay, straight wood, no, the twisted wood, leave that one. Let's go get this one. We'll harvest this tree. This is what we'll make our snowshoes out of. This is what we'll make this out of. You know what I mean? This is knowledge that now I will have to learn through trial and error. You know, this is
Right.
knowledge that they had. That and dad did brain tanning, and that's something that I never did learn. Now, there's probably people on YouTube and that can show you how to brain tan, but I never did learn that process, right?
Yeah,
I,
it's the,
I,
I think it's the oils and the brains of the
yeah.
animals that they use.
Well, I've seen them do it, and I've seen them, you know, rub it all over the hide and the skin and all that stuff. But there was a whole lot of more to it than just that, you know, and working it, and then going out, and if you wanted to smoke the hide or whatever to get it uh, a different color, instead of it being like the white, you can make it a smokier, more traditional leather color, like this. You know what I mean? Instead of being right white, you can tan it.
Thanks, Jeff. But also, I wanted to address Raptor Ranch, talking about the rabbits for gloves and hats. And yeah, I've seen people use the rabbit fur inside gloves and like the leather. Like, I guess they use the rabbit fur on the inside, but there's a different leather on the outside. And I do apologize. I do that all the time, Raptor Ranch. I say, "What's up, brother?" instead of sister, because it's so hard to tell with the name and an icon. So I do apologize. So Raptor Ranch, my apologies. I was holding on to that one.
No.
But
Well,
yeah,
so much is lost in when you read something, you know, versus verbal communication. And
some folks said, "Did your dad keep?" I think Bell purposes. Did your dad keep any notes?
no, not so much. Everything that we did was and traditionally true, all native was all oral history, passed
Right.
down from generation to generation to generation, and you learn by being with them and working it and stuff. But I was gone for almost 30 years. I did over 27 years in the military, and by the time I got back, my dad had already suffered a congestive heart failure, and had he was in the final stages of dementia. So lost so much there, you know.
I agree. We take things for granted sometimes, brother, and you know, we think, like, you know, like in the past, I thought my mom was always going to be there. You know, she was in her 60s, so I thought she had plenty of time, and then she was taken from me. So I understand how you feel, brother.
Yeah, I had my first cousin once removed passed away a couple of days ago. He was just 54 years old.
Wow.
You know, so you just you just never know what life is going to throw at you and how much time you have here. And that's kind of why I started my channel, because Dad was not doing well. He was crippled up at the end pretty good, and he spent most of his time. Here's a man that instilled his love of the outdoors into me. We did everything: hunting, fishing, snaring, trapping, you name it, we did it. Um, um, Collecting berries, you know, we chased the seasons and harvest everything in each season. Every berry as it came ripe, we harvested. You did what you could to cut down on all expenses to you know, to get you through the winter, to get you through life. So where am I going with this, Grey? I got lost again. I just started talking and squirrel.
Right on, right.
I don't even know where I was going with this. Yeah, anybody can help get me on track, I'd be greatly appreciated, because I went off on a little tangent. Yeah, thank you very much, Fat Man Prepping.
I think, I mean, that's all I have. I don't know. I know we've been here a little over, right over an hour and a half, a couple minutes over an hour and a half. But yeah, agreed, Harvey. Family is huge. Family.
Yeah.
Trying to teach our kids and pass things, go down. It's the Grey syndrome. Yes, Pony Girl. It is the Pony Girl saying, because I'll be talking and then I'm all of a sudden I'm just lost. I'll look at chat and I'm like, was right in the middle of a sentence. I'm like, yep, I have no clue what I was going to say.
Oh my God. And the older you get, the worse it gets, because I don't know how many times I walk out of a room to go get something, and then it's like, why am I here? Then you got to turn around, kind of retrace your steps to see if you could trigger your memory. Oh, I think I was talking about how and why I started my channel. And it was because of Dad. Dad was all crippled up, and he was a man that loved being outside. And in these later years, the last 10 years of his life, he spent it confined, sometimes in a wheelchair, in the later part in a wheelchair. So I just what I was doing, he was always asking what kind of adventures I went on, where did I go, what was I doing. And so I started filming it. And this was back when we had 8-tracks and stuff like there in the camcorders. And then I would have to burn it off on a CD, then send it home to Newfoundland, which he would get weeks later.
Thank you.
And then somebody at work went and told me, like, why don't you just upload your videos to YouTube? I said, YouTube? What's that? He said, you could go out on an adventure today, get home, download it to YouTube, and your dad can watch it the same night. I'm like, no way, that's impossible. That doesn't exist. And so anyways, that's how I found YouTube, and that's what I was just basically filming outings that my dad could watch, and later maybe one day my kids and grandkids could watch. You know, so
oh man.
8-track. Hey, I had an 8-track player in my first Jeep. It was a 78 Scout International Jeep.
Yeah, I truly miss the old days per se, man. But I know someone said something about something, but I forgot where it was at, and I tried to find it, but I couldn't find it. So my apologies. Other than that, Charlie, do you got any last things? First of all, let me say thank you. I always enjoy having you on the show, brother. You're just so much full of information. You know, a lot of us, you know, at least me personally, I envy somewhat your lifestyle. You know what I mean, compared to what I'm living here in a suburb in Florida. I just want to, I guess, a more rural quiet, simple life.
Yeah, I don't know what I can add to that. I do feel blessed. I'm very grateful for the knowledge and everything that was instilled on me before I left for the military. The first half of my life was absolutely amazing. The And like I said, we had to, because we didn't have a lot. We had to hunt and fish and trap and pick berries and gather berries and learn how to preserve all that stuff,
Right.
just to get us through, just to make sure we had our jams for the winter, we had berries for the winter, we had meat for the winter, we had fish for the winter, codfish, salmon, trout, you name it. Meat is something that we didn't buy downtown. We never had to, you know.
Yeah, it's because without it, people wouldn't eat. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have any food.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think that about wraps it up, folks. Charlie, do you want to add anything before I do my spiel?
No, thank you so much, everybody who tuned in. I got to read some of the comments there. Very, very nice comments. Thank you very much, everybody. And yeah, check out the channel. And if you like that kind of content, then please subscribe. As I move more into the winter months now, you're going to start seeing more snowmobiling adventures and stuff. And winter camping with the canvas tent and stuff like there. So, yeah. So if you're into that kind of thing, and I've been, trying to explain maybe just a little bit more of what I do and why I do it the way I do, to help out the prepping community and stuff like there. Because I know there's a lot of people that are into the prepping movement that are into bushcraft and all that stuff. See, we never did have names like this onto it. But a lot of these folks are living in heavy populated areas and maybe only able to get out one day a week to some state land or wherever where they can go out and they can practice making a fire. You can have a boil up, you can have a little hike, you can do a little bit of foraging, but you'll see throughout the course of my videos that everything starts right out my back door.
Right on.
Literally right out my back door. And growing up where I grew up, on the outskirts of Stephenville, there was times like I would get home from school or whatever, and mom say, "Go get a fish for supper."
Yeah.
Go get a salmon. So I would run down to the brook and come back with a salmon or a couple of big sea trout or something, But it was just the way it was. It was just how we got by day to day type thing.
Yeah, agreed, brother. That's like I said. There's a lot to learn from you and your channel, and you as a person. That's why I'm glad I have your number.
I'm learning stuff too. You're never too old, and there's so many. And I'm telling you, wait till you guys see Byron and Jasmine and the series that we plan to bring to you guys. And it's about, because I don't know if you've seen, there's been studies where they've taken bottles of water and stuff, and they play hard rock music to one and say things like "I hate you" and this and that. And when it freezes, it forms these brown and very unpleasing ice crystals. And then the other same sample of water into another glass or whatever, and they play good music and say beautiful "I love you" type things to it, and those crystals form and they're beautiful. So a lot of the same thing with plant medicines and stuff. Like you can't be buying your plant medicines. Like, to me, it goes against that sacred bond. It's almost like playing hard rock to that medicine. This is not how it was designed. It's a gift. You know what I mean? This
Yes.
is a knowledge. It's a gift. It's if somebody is ill and they need something, if you needed a red belted polypore to stop internal bleeding or whatever, then you would know, because of your travels, you remember where you've seen the red belted polypore, and you would go get them, and you would harvest it and allow them to get the medicines that they needed at a time when they need it, you know.
Right.
And it's a gift. It's nothing, no money involved into it. You got to do things in a very good way, I think.
I'm sitting here looking. I think that's well, folks, like I said, check out Charlie's channel. Great content, folks. I want to say thank you to every single one of you folks that were here this evening and sat with us for this little hour and a half, a little over an hour and a half. You guys are amazing people. Thank you so much for joining us. And mods, of course, you guys know you do a phenomenal job of taking care of, make sure that the chat is family friendly and everybody's having a good time. For you subscribers, share this out. Share this out with your friends and family and other people that you might find interesting. You know, my channel, Charlie's channel, or other channels that you like, that you feel that you can get valid content from. So again, thank you all for being here. I want to say, you know, from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate when you guys sit here for the entire thing and enjoy as much as you can. Like I said, there'll be a lot of folks, Charlie, that'll probably catch us on the replay. Folks that it's either too late, they got to get up early. And of course, you and I will. I always see you bouncing the live streams here and there, so I always like to see you.
Yeah. And afterwards, maybe what folks I'll get the Grey to do, because they changed up the way you do these playlists and stuff. Like older guys like me and Grey, I changed with computers and stuff. I was really good at the format they had a few years ago. I could create playlists and all that stuff. But what I want to do now for the new folks coming in and stuff is kind of clean up a lot of the videos and add playlists, and maybe get some tutelage here from Mr. GreyMan, and hopefully he can steer me down a good path, and I can get the channel easier for you guys to navigate through and find videos that you love. If you're a nature lover, because I do things like whale watching and stuff like that there. This year, I'm going to be flying my drone right over feeding humpback whales. Like the humpbacks, I love humpbacks. They're such a wonderful creature.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, but you know, I got a lot of nature-loving stuff. I got a lot of hunting stuff, and sometimes the two don't mix. I get a lot of subscribers that unsubscribe because one video they come to my channel and they see that, oh, gee, this guy's a nature lover. He's doing wild edibles and medicines and this and that, and everything's all like beautiful, and then next thing you know, the next video I'm moose hunting or something, you know. So yeah,
you can't make everybody happy, brother.
No, I know that, and I just try to keep it real, and I try to keep it family friendly. You know, like I want everybody from 8 to 80 to be able to watch my show and
right,
or the channel and enjoy it, you know, and not have to worry about cursing and swearing. Although in some of my older videos, you'll see some of that. So I take a lot of people out that are sometimes pretty descriptive, and if things don't go well, I can't
happens,
beep everything.
brother.
I can't beep everything.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
But
anyways, GreyMan, thank you so much for having me on here, and folks in the chat, thank you so much for sticking around. And we'll do it again. And like I say, when this COVID thing kind of simmers down, I want Byron and Jasmine to come in here and what they're going to show you guys and the level of knowledge they have on wild medicines and wild edibles and stuff. Like they've got over 120 different types of plants and wild edibles identified here in this region. Like
that's amazing, man. That is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And just you know how to get a hold of me, man.
Yeah, it's just groceries right out here. It's all groceries. Yeah.
But other than that, like I said, I'll be dropping a video tomorrow. Might be interesting, might not be. Who knows? We'll see how it is. The last video I did was about trash bags.
I didn't get to see that one yet, but I will. I'll pick that up.
Oh man. And then Thursday night, folks, Milo, I'll be talking about that as well. What you had mentioned earlier, I saw swish by. I got a lot of things to talk about. We'll be talking about stuff with the channel and the giveaways and we got all kinds of stuff going on Thursday night. So any folks that want to just shoot the breeze with me. We're not gonna focus on the craziness out there in the world right now. Even there's a lot of stuff I can go over, but I'll leave that to the other content creators that like to use that material. I just want to have a good time on Thursday, so we'll see what happens. I'll bring a few articles up for you folks, but we're gonna try to focus on the good stuff and moving forward and stuff. Other than that, folks, I wish everybody a blessed evening. Again, thank you all for being here. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you on the rebound. This is GreyMan. I'm out, and Charlie. Make sure you check out his channel.
Thank you so much.